It's time for another episode of Crossplay Conversations, the show where we dive deep into the world of video games while keeping it light. I'm your host, Luke Lewis, and today I'm once again joined by a man who's afraid to lose in Fantasy Critic League, Jacob McCourt, the Wii U Wonder Kid.
How
Hello,
dare
sir.
you bring this into
Whoa.
the microphone like this?
You know,
Whoa.
I had to start off. I was saving it. You asked me if I wanted to host. I decided I did want to host because we had to have some words real quick on this here piece of content.
Did you see this?
Whose
For
names are
the
on
video
there?
viewers,
For
if
audio
you're on
listeners,
YouTube,
he is holding up a plaque. His name, I
Did you
believe, is
make
on the
that for
plaque.
yourself?
Yes.
Wait,
That's a
Let me-
serious
Can you
question.
show the rest of the pack? Interesting. Interesting.
I'm
Honestly,
seeing-
I've been a little checked out this year, but I feel like it's good to let other people have a chance. I don't know what the current rankings are,
so
but it sounds like it's not
to
Jacob.
catch everyone,
Jacob number 1, actually.
to catch everyone up, Jacob
For
is
now.
number 1 currently, but will that remain? Unclear.
Yes. Yes.
For listeners, I want to give a brief context, and then we'll move on to the actual topic of the episode. I drafted Hollow Knight Silksong, which for a moment,
Great.
a brief moment in time, had a perfect 100. Never
Yeah.
seen before in the history of Fantasy Critic League. Broke the internet. People were up in arms. I was celebrating the day that I had waited for years to come. Beautiful, beautiful time. It settled around a 92. Still very good. I also have some indie bangers coming later this year. Who's to say? Jacob's counterpick of Borderlands 4 scored pretty high. Wasn't as low as one
That's
would hope on a
unfortunate.
counterpick.
Let's take him down. Why not?
I digress. I'm not trying to start shit, but you
I
threw that
am.
devil
What do you
emoji
mean
in
you're
chat,
not
and it
trying
needed
to
to be
start
brought
You
to
literally tried to
justice.
start shit.
You
As
came
far
in
as
and
I
you were
know-
like, all right.
There's only one person with 2 names on that board, and I intend it to stay that way. So, Luke, whatever you need, let me know. You need a trade or what? Let me just tell me. We'll work something out.
We'll
Can I
check-
share one thing before you introduce our third host, our next
Absolutely.
host,
Yeah,
Joseph
I'll
Hooper?
introduce the
Right
rest
now,
of the show as well.
projected 1, 2, 3 in this Fantasy Critic League is Jacob, Luke, Joseph.
That's incredible. I
The
love
fact that I'm projected third, let me tell you, other folks in the league, get it together. Because what are we doing here? I need to go check in right now. There's no way I'm third right now.
Who's that guy?
Enough business,
Not me.
enough beef. Rounding out the rest of the quartet here, we have the sneaker savant, the engaged one, Joseph Hooper,
Hello,
two-time
everybody.
Fantasy League critic winner, as
there
just
we go.
established. And rounding out the quartet,
I usually show something.
what do you
So,
got?
video viewers, I'm showing this chapstick here, everybody. This is
Classic.
cherry chapstick. So that's my prop for today.
I love it.
Thank you.
Speaking of love, our fourth chair, my wife, Claire Helmberger, Claire Lewis.
Hey. Supposed
Welcome.
to do the thing. Yay.
Love it. All right, well, welcome to the show, everybody. I'm sorry I had to derail us right off the top with some shenanigans. Let's talk about some games, what we know and love. We just came back from PAX West. This past week, we had a bunch of impressions going up. We talked about the Square Enix preview event. We talked about the Xbox on-site preview event that y'all attended. Some tons of really cool impressions. But we've got to talk about the indie games. And that's what we're going to highlight today, in addition to a slew of other things that we also played on the show floor. A bunch of good stuff. But let's kick things off with our icebreaker question. I'm curious, we've done a ton of PAXs together, but what was the vibe of PAX West? How were people feeling generally about the show this year? Claire, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. So I, for the first time, missed a full day of the show this year. I had to work on Friday. So I think that might have skewed my perception, but I did feel like once I got on the floor, there were a higher number of really cool games that I wasn't expecting than at previous years. I feel like the past couple PAXs, I feel like we've been kind of ping-ponging back and forth between like repeat games, and there weren't a ton of repeat games from East or Last West, and so it was really exciting to see a bunch of new stuff. Things that we maybe gotten press emails for but hadn't seen in other showcases or in like Steam Next Fest or anything. So it was I was really excited. And of course it's always great to see all the friends who come into town, and that social aspect is really great too. All the cosplayers. It's just such a good vibe. So I had a great time.
Hell yeah. Love to hear it. Joseph, how was the show for you?
Yeah, it was great. I feel like I've been a little bit down on PAX the past couple events just because it typically is a lot of the same games. And yeah, I just feel like maybe some of the big players don't show up. And just the overall vibes are down. It's a little emptier than usual. This felt like a complete 180. I felt like it was very poppin' almost every day there. Like Claire said, there were a lot of new games. There were a lot of big AAA booths that kind of helped bring the morale up of everybody around them. Just having those like never before played games like Resident Evil and Pragmata on the floor for the casual people, the casual fan game enjoyer to enjoy. It was just awesome. So this is probably the highest I've been on PAX in a number of years.
It felt like the
Nice.
scale of it was truly back. We were reminiscing about the first PAX where we met Joseph in 2018, where like there was like 25 demo
Fortnite
stations.
mini golf.
Yeah, Fortnite mini golf, 25 demo stations of Spider-Man PS4 pre-release. Like it just felt like a big to do.
It was different.
And this one felt borderline that, not so much with like the outdoor activations and stuff, but just in terms of like the scale of games. Like Nintendo had a massive presence. There was the Offsite Xbox event. Capcom had a giant booth. Like there were just major players that showed up this time around, in addition to some great indie titles as well. So it felt like a nice balance on both fronts, I thought. How about for you, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm kind of with everything with y'all said. It seems like we're like 80 to 85% of where we were pre-COVID again. As someone who went to about half the PAXs I've been to was like before COVID, and I've been to basically every PAX since 2022 now. To me, it was seeing Capcom, Nintendo. If we got Sony back, if we got PlayStation back in a real way, I think we'd really feel like this thing was fully back. Nintendo took up a third of the smaller section of the arch, and that with new titles, which I thought they were going to show up with some Pokemon display again, but lo and behold, they were here with their warp pipe shenanigans. So look, friends are great, vibes are great. I love the fact that we've got tabletop and panels over in one dedicated building. Lots of good banger content panels that I was able to see. I think PAX for the most part is back.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
One more comment related to the PlayStation thing. I think PlayStation, Microsoft, you guys should be at every convention. Like, what are we doing? Like Microsoft, with how many titles they're putting out this year and with how many publishers that they have, Ghost of Yote is right around the corner. Like, I feel like for having the big three, we can't have two missing. Like, and that's not a PAX problem. That's a Xbox and PlayStation problem. So let's come on, guys. Let's get back together. Let's all join hands and show up at PAX. At least PAX West. PAX East, you know how it is. It's a long ways to go. But PAX West, especially Microsoft's right in the backyard. So come on.
Hell yeah. Love it. Yeah, it was a great show overall. It was kind of a weird one for me because I was working an actual booth on the PR side for the first time at PAX, which was very fun in its own ways, but I like played less and kind of got out into the floor less. But yeah, it was a very good time. I was very happy. I played 5 games, and I'm not gonna lie, they were all bangers. So I'm excited to chat here about them. But let's kick things off. We got to talk about our games of the show. We gave out our trophies, the lovely Game Boy trophies that we do every year. And with Claire this time, we gave out 4 awards, which was really rad. It's always my highlight of the weekend, honestly, just making people happy and celebrating cool games. Jacob, I'll kick things off with you. You had a pick that all 4 of us were universally like, yeah, this game's rad as hell. Tell us about Terrible Lizards.
Yeah, so this was a PAX Rising selection. It is the first game from WDR Studios, which is I'll have to give you the name of the YouTuber afterwards, but it's founded out of like a music YouTuber, which we'll grab. JT Music, I think, is the name of the creator, if I'm not mistaken. But essentially, this is a first-person horror parkour game that takes place at one of those backstop Route 66 attractions where not everything appears, or there's mystery afoot. And so the thing that really impressed me with this is threefold. Is one, vibes are immaculate. Put on those headphones, and between the sound design, the music, and the ambiance in the graphics, amazing. The parkour felt really good. I think first person parkour is really tough to do. And when they said, Mirror's Edge, I think at one point someone said that Mirror's Edge was sort of an inspiration for them. I went, okay, you're talking my language. And then it's got that X factor to it. I mean, any game that has FMV cutscenes playing on the screen in a museum, I'm down for. But something mysterious is afoot, and you discover it very quickly. The end of this demo, they basically said, and the demo's not available, unfortunately, but the way they kind of had to do it is they're like, this is the opening of the game, and then we kind of chop it and then show you a cutscene to sort of end the demo. And what they show you at the chop is reminding me of something that you'd see in a Dark Pictures game. So if any of that, if those words is a good word soup to you, please wishlist WDR Studios' first title, Terrible Lizards. I know everyone here loved it, and it was not a matter of if we were giving a trophy, but who was going to give it.
Truly. Yeah. I think if we could have given one universal trophy, this would have been our one universal. But yeah, I had a blast with it as well. I played it on the last day of the show after Jacob, you, and Claire both recommended it, and then Joseph walked up to the booth as I was playing too to also play. But yeah, what a cool vibe. It was like equally whimsical and interesting in terms of like the narrative and exploring the museum, but then the like strange horror vibes. I mentioned to one of the devs after I was playing my demo that it reminded me a lot of the Alan Wake 2 Coffee World section, just in terms of like the campy, weird, what the heck is going on energy. But yeah, it was so cool. And I kept like jolting physically forward while I was playing during the parkour sections because I was so into it. So I think that speaks volumes.
It hits that same vibe that My Friendly Neighborhood hit that came from Dread XP.
I could see it.
Like a year or two ago. It's exact same vibe, to the point where I was like, should this be published by Dread XP? Because that's kind of what it feels like.
I could see it.
Yeah.
And then the I won't spoil necessarily the little teaser cutscene we get at the end, but gives me a little bit of Five Nights at Freddy's in a intriguing, I'm compelled, this is spooky way.
Yeah.
So that was fun as well.
Yeah, I know we've made a lot of comparisons already, but Zoocosis, which I think came out last year, I watched, I think Kind of Funny do some playthroughs of that, and this was a very similar vibe where it's like definitely a little creepy, but also pretty goofy in like how the events are unraveling. I think the devs kind of described it as campy, which I love. That was the part that really sold me. In addition to the gameplay felt pretty smooth as well. So yeah, this was awesome. I can't wait for other people to get a chance to try it. I think hopefully there will be a demo coming out probably like next year, Steam Next Fest time.
Did they mention any Next Fest stuff? I'm trying to find my notes.
I don't recall if they said anything definitive, but I think they did say that they were eventually going to work to put out a demo for everybody to try.
Sweet.
But at this point, there's no date. It's a coming soon at this point.
Yeah.
He did say they were aiming for mid 2026. So
Okay.
Not
Cool.
too far off.
Yeah.
Whenever it's ready, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Sick.
I'm ready.
Next up, let's dig into my game of the show. A title called Blocks for Babies. So let's take a walk with this one because we got this email and I was so compelled right off the bat. But sometimes you get a PR email and you're like, that's a very good hook, but is it going to have the sauce? And let me tell you, Blocks for Babies has the sauce. For folks that aren't familiar with this game at all, Doom meets Tetris, but it fires on all cylinders and it works so well. So you're playing a very satisfying Tetris game, but then there's an element where you can flip the board and it turns into a first-person shooter, retro style pixelated Doom game where you're shooting blocks, they're coming towards you, and then that affects the Tetris puzzle and you're quickly going back and forth as the level gets harder. And as a Tetris sicko, I found it very satisfying just on like a puzzle game level, but then I found the unique twist of the shooter element really satisfying, and the way they interweave everything together I thought worked really, really nicely. The music is super fun. I just wanted to keep playing. This is one that like I can't wait to have on a Steam Deck and just keep in the rotation, always downloaded, because it gives that vibe.
I also love this one. When playing it on the floor, you got to see a little bit of like the roguelite elements where you can decide, for example, how wide you like. Do you want a wide board? Do you want a narrow board? And that not only affects when you're puzzling, but also when you're entering that Doom like. And then beyond that too, there's boss battles, which I did not get to a boss battle, but the person that was playing in front of me, who was Joseph did. Tell us about the boss battles, because you're OP at games, I guess.
I mean, sorry. So it's just a little subtle flex there. I got to the boss battle. No biggie. I did not beat the boss though, partly because there were definitely some surprising mechanics that I was not ready for in the boss battle, where like there are some indestructible blocks that the boss is made out of, which also kind of like changes up how you tackle that. I didn't figure out how to destroy these blocks or how to beat the boss, but it was definitely really interesting because you're fighting the boss in 3D space, and then the boss jumps into 2D space within the Tetris game as well. So all of that was insane. So yeah, like I'll let Jacob get back to it, but like the game is extremely creative, which is creativity wins in my book always. So
yeah, I think the last thing I'll say is and Luke, maybe you want to touch on this, is the first time you move from that Tetris board to having the camera swing down and show you the first person is, I implore anyone listening to go on the Steam page, wishlist it, and wait for that, or go watch a trailer. The way they achieve that technically is wild to see.
Yeah, the presentation of it, I think, is like a huge selling point. In addition to that, the gameplay loop just works really well, and I love the freedom of like you're selecting which group of blocks you then take from the Tetris gameplay loop into the first person level, so there's some strategy to it. And yeah, I'm excited to see how the levels progress, because I didn't get to the boss either, but I could tell that like as you continue playing, the game is going to ramp up in terms of difficulty, and I'm excited to see like late game crazy Tetris that then bleeds into this intense shooter level where you're fighting for your life, and then it jumps back and forth. And yeah, I think it's gonna be really rad. So please check out Blocks for Babies. Bunksoft Interactive is the name of the devs. Shout out to the dev team, Noah and company, lovely folks. It was really great to meet them at the show as well.
Yeah, and this one does have a demo available on Steam, and then for everything, like, we're going to include Steam links to everything in the show notes. So if you just want to click from your favorite podcast app, then you can do that.
Nice.
Continuing on with this good games trend, Joseph, tell us about No Stone Unturned.
Yeah, well, like I just said, creativity wins in my book. And No Stone Unturned was probably the most creative game I played that weekend. This is a murder mystery detective like game about solving the mystery of why the chicken crossed the road. So that is very much how the game starts. You happen upon a dead chicken. You are a detective squirrel who's lost his memory, and you are trying to put the pieces together about how you got there, why you lost your memory, why this chicken is dead, X, Y, and Z. Now, I will say I had some hesitation playing the game because I walked up to the demo and like I was like, oh, this seems like it might be a point and click game. I might be reading a lot of text. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to demo well. And I was immediately proven wrong. The game is fully voiced. At least the main character is voiced. And there's at least 2 characters in the demo that were voiced, which would like the voiceovers are incredible, especially for an indie game. I'm like, this is some standout voice acting. In particular, it goes really well with the comedic tone of the game. And that's another big part of why I really enjoyed this demo, as like the comedy was hitting on all cylinders for me. I know comedy is subjective, so what is funny to me might not be, honestly, probably won't be funny to most people, but it just like the hits just kept coming where like you're looking for your badge and you're trying to pick up interesting items and you see your badge there, but then you also see like a piece of wood that is useless, but it has like an extremely detailed face for some reason. It's just like, why? You figure out that your name is Detective Cox, which, if you're 12, that's pretty funny. And apparently also, if you're 30 going on 31, also turns out to be pretty funny when the main voice actor says that over time, multiple times in their voiceover. you have a staring contest minigame with an old grandma that you want to question. But first, you have to clean up her house. So then you have a Pokemon like battle with a stain on the floor, and you use mop, and it's super effective. There's just so many different things. And over on my website, campause.com, I wrote an article comparing it to Undertale, and just in that it has so many different like surprises under its belt. Like almost every couple minutes there's a nice surprise happening. So yeah, I love this game for that. Whenever a game can just repeatedly surprise me without end, I'm totally down. And I think the game is supposed to be like a 6-hour experience, and hopefully it's coming next year. And judging by all of the screenshots on the Steam page, it just seems like you look at these screenshots and you're like, how are these things related? What are they? What's happening? How is this going to fit into anything? I'm so ready.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Claire, you played this
I
one
did.
too?
Yeah, I loved everything you said, but also just like the variety of the mini games I think was specifically really interesting. And he said he was incorporating just like every mini game you can think of from all sorts of different franchises, and he was just like, I'm just copying all this stuff. And like the humor is just like very dry British humor, and I really enjoyed that demo too. So I am really excited to see what's cooking in that kitchen right now.
Nice.
Keep me honest, they only had one demo station the entire weekend.
They did.
And it always was backed up.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, if you were at PAX and you said, man, I just could not get my hands on that demo, lucky for you, the demo is on Steam. Keep me honest, Jacob. Do you have Steam open right now?
Yes, I do. It's available on Steam.
Well, there you go, everybody. The demo is out right now.
You love to see it. You also love to see our fourth Game of the Show winner from Claire, Fallen Tier, The Ascension.
Yeah. So I gave my word to Fallen Tier, The Ascension, which is a Metroidvania kind of in the vein of Ori and the the Ori franchise. It's got that really beautiful hand-drawn, hand-painted art style, and then of course the Metroidvania elements. But what was really interesting about this was the combat system of you're collecting characters essentially that are also power-ups. So as you meet people in the world that you're exploring, you add them to like your arsenal of tools that you can use in combat. And they each have their own power that they do. So you're fighting and you're doing your like normal attacks, but then that one character, their cooldown is ended. MJ, get off the. We should probably stop her from doing that. Hold on.
Your companion in your game will be your cat MJ. What power does MJ
special
give you?
characters? Scratch. Actually, she probably doesn't scratch.
Literally
right? Climb.
climbing up the window. Full on climbing.
Okay. Sorry.
No, this is great content. You know, this
Did
is
you
what
move
everyone's
the
really
camera
here.
so that the
Yeah,
people
I did.
could see
Yeah,
MJ
no, I
climbing
gave
the
a full
window?
shot.
The people saw it all.
Okay. Anyway. So
Sometimes you
For
have to jump into
example-
action, just like in
yeah, you just gotta,
Volunteer,
just like
essentially.
in the video games. So like for example, you get one character whose ability is that will lock your enemies into place and hold them in place for a few moments, and then obviously they've got a cooldown. But after a certain amount of attacks, you can use all of them at the same time, all three, and just go to town on these bosses, which was really really cool to see in action. And there are apparently like 20 some odd different characters you can find and collect throughout the game, and like mix and match which ones suit your playstyle. So I really like the sound of that too. I was really intrigued by just like the beauty of the art style. The music was also really great, and it just seems like there's a lot of depth between, like, in addition to those characters, the different, like, the skill tree that you can access, the different ways that you can level up your character as you go, and then the unlocking of the parts of the world that comes standard with any Metroidvania. So really really excited to see what the full game for this one looks like.
I don't know if you guys ever played Dust and Elysian Tale back in the day.
Oh yeah.
But that's the vibe I got from this. Is like an early Xbox live arcade game that was a Metroidvania, and for some reason I'm getting wild Dust and Elysian Tale vibes from this in a good way.
I can see it with the art style, like the uses of like bright purples and like
Yeah.
against the vibrant green. Yeah, the game's really pretty. I think it was like arguably the most striking game I saw on the show floor in terms of like immediately caught my eye with the art style, and I really enjoyed it as well. It was cool. I'm a sucker for a solid Metroidvania, and this was definitely
The combat
up
felt
there.
solid. The
Yeah,
hits
totally.
landed. The
Yeah.
platforming was good.
And I think the team, keep me honest from where they were from, but they're like, we're just gonna go home and finish the game now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they said they had a lot of remote work, so they had some people, I believe, in the
Yeah, they
Philippines.
did say the Philippines.
One guy was in New York. Like there's people all over. So
Hell yeah. All right, well, those were our best of show awards, but we played a bunch of other stuff too. So we're going to do some round robin action and run down a slew of titles that we all played. Kicking off, we're taking a pause on Indie Roundup for just a brief moment to highlight 3 games that we had the chance to play at the Capcom booth. So kicking things off, Jacob and Joseph, you both got to play Pragmata.
Yeah,
Yes.
Seeing thumbs up.
we
Jacob, kick us
thumbs
off.
up.
Give us a little
Yeah,
bit of information. What the heck is this game? It's one I've been curious about. Capcom's been on a hot streak. What's Pragmata?
and I mean it's one that's been in, I don't want to say development hell because that's mean, but it's been sort of in
In the
limbo for a long
works.
time.
Yeah.
Where look, I secretly think this is a Mega Man game, but we'll talk about our theories later on it. Where you play as a spaceman
Okay.
who then discovers a little space girl, and it is very much a shooter where you're stuck on what seems to be a moon base, where the core mechanic is it's a third person shooter, but the twist is the little girl that's on your shoulder, she can hack the robots that are coming after you. Where if a robot is coming your way, there'll be a square grid that'll come up, and you'll have to solve a very fast puzzle, which is really just like moving your cursor in a little like maze-like format. But once you do that, you hack the enemy and make them weak. That applies to the fodder enemies, the boss enemies. I was very apprehensive going into it because I'm like, they have to nail this in a way that it gives you just enough depth to do it really quickly, where you're also able to still pay attention to what's happening around you. And I am happy to report that they have nailed that core mechanic. So if you liked sort of some of the B tier shooters, non-derogatory on the 360, like your Dead to Rights Retribution, your Binary Domain, your Vanquishes, if you enjoyed those video games, this seems like a return to that. That this will not be like a quadruple A video game, but maybe one that like a Lost Planet that you just dive into and adore.
Cool.
Yeah, I love this game. This was probably one of my favorite games I played throughout the entire weekend. This game definitely surprised me. I'm going to say a derogatory comment. This game is very one note, but it is a beautiful, beautiful note that this game is playing. And I say that because if you don't like the hacking minigame, this game is probably not going to be for you because you have to do that for every single enemy.
Oh.
But I think all of the mechanics of the game come together very nicely. The movement, the hacking, even the weapons all serve different utilities in that like you have one weapon that's kind of like a net that freezes enemies in place for a while. So then you could switch to your heavy artillery weapon, or you have like a standard pistol that has the most ammo and is faster. Like all of these different elements are just so fun. Looking at the main character, he looks like he's more of a chunky Big Daddy type character. He actually moves pretty agile. Like he has some agility to him. Like he has these thrusters that have cooldown, but you can kind of dash around the field and get around, which makes it a very exciting matchup whenever you're going against a robot and you're hacking, which doesn't stop time. Like the robots can still move as you're hacking. So it's a real time puzzle, and you're kind of dodging and dashing while you're trying to do this hack at the same time. And then clearly there are going to be elements of the gameplay that evolve over time. So there was this aspect that they introduced at the end of the demo where if you're doing the hacking minigame, which is like Jacob said, point A to point B. If you draw a line through these certain symbols, that'll give you a boost to do like extra damage when you fully complete the hack. So like all of these little aspects were very cool. The only question mark like nitpick that I have is like I hope we're not on the space station for the whole game, assuming that the game is like 15 plus hours, because I would love to see a different location. In the original trailer that they showed, they were on like Earth and then flew to space or something like that. So maybe we'll see some different locales. I don't know, but I love this game.
Cool. How do we feel about
Yeah.
the story? Is it more gameplay focused? Are we intrigued?
No,
I'm
not at all.
intrigued.
All right.
Oh, rip.
I mean,
Oh,
Troy
sorry.
Baker is the voice of the main character,
Well,
but
then
it
I'm
very
intrigued.
much
Shit. No.
if you like the story of a lot of the games that I mentioned from that 360 era,
Okay.
I think that's
Yeah.
about the depth you're gonna get. Unless
Yeah.
again, this is a secret Mega Man game, which is my conspiracy theory here.
This is not a Last of Us or a God of War, but I did like the cheesy nature of it, where the guy's like, did somebody bring their kid to the space station? I can't believe that. And I'm like, that's kind of funny. Like, it's kind of goofy, but it's kind of funny. So like, yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes, and I'm curious what this relationship, it could end up being very generic, like hella generic. I can see that being an option, but it also could have some laughs and some goofiness.
Okay.
Capcom, you
Okay.
really never know with them. So
It
we'll
could
see.
go either way. It could be a laugh. It could be endearing. It could be inconsequential. Who's
There
to
you
say?
go.
Okay. Well, I'm intrigued. You've piqued my interest. Another game that more than piqued my interest. Next up, I played Resident Evil Requiem, which was a really cool demo experience. I've never done a demo because for this particular demo, it was the only one at the Capcom booth that was like behind closed doors, but it was behind closed doors for everyone playing, including the public and whatnot. So we went into a dark room. We all put on our headphones and we played 30 minutes of Resident Evil, and it was really, really cool. I'm a big recent Resident Evil fan. I loved the remakes. I really enjoyed 7. I haven't had a chance to play Village yet, so jumping into 9, we have the new protagonist of Grace, the reporter, out to find out what's going on at this really mysterious hospital. The demo starts, you wake up like shackled to a hospital bed situation. There's blood everywhere. Stuff's very scary. There's spooky lumen monster in the distance. And then the demo basically was like a classic Resident Evil breakdown of you're trying to sneak through the halls, evade this looming monster in the darkness, find items to solve puzzles in the environment, and move throughout that way. But super pretty. I was really impressed by the lighting engine. The monster in question felt quite scary coming off of a Nemesis or a Mr. X. Like, this was up there for me in terms of like I felt very scared.
Like had to crouch through doorways.
Had to crouch
large,
through
right?
doorways. Like you're ducking under stuff. I felt like in this, at least in this slice of demo I played, there were more like dark areas. Like I felt like I was sitting in silence in the complete dark more than in previous Resident Evil games, which was a whole vibe. It reminded me similar of like an Amnesia title back in the day where it was like more about evading than active combat. So that was interesting. But granted, I only played 30 minutes, so we'll see what the full game experience is. But yeah, it was really cool. I was very impressed. And then it was also fun being in a room with like 15 other screens of people playing, and kind of I started like 5 minutes before the person next to me. So then seeing if we jump scared at the same place, it was this interesting like shared convention experience checking out a horror title. So yeah, very excited. This one's coming out in February, so we don't have to wait too long. But yeah, looking forward to it. I think I want to try to play Village maybe over the holiday break once we're through with Game of the Year preparations and things.
Because this is out, or this is end of January. This comes out.
February.
End of February.
Yeah,
Got
February 20. I want to say 27th, but let me confirm that as we're chatting.
I believe you. No reason not to believe you there.
Feb 27, 26.
Look at him. Look at him. I knew. Never doubt Luke. That's what I say.
But yeah, very cool game. Shout out to Capcom for having me by the booth. Was very excited. Rounding out our Capcom trio, Joseph, you got a chance to play Onimusha, Way of the Sword?
Yeah,
How we feeling?
this game's fire. I don't know.
Oh, sick.
I don't know what else to tell you. This game is awesome. I don't know anything about
Okay, that
Onimusha.
was
I'm
gonna be
not
my.
necessarily an Onimusha fan, but I just really enjoy the gameplay. This is very much in that tier of like um, Ninja Gaiden 4, where I just like being a ninja. I like being very flashy with my sword, and like you feel very powerful in this game. I don't know about the history of difficulty with the previous Onimusha games, but this one wasn't that difficult, and I played it on like normal difficulty. Granted, this is like the tutorial, so it could always get harder, but you are essentially walking around in this Sekiro like environment, chopping up baddies, and then sucking up like their souls, and you get like red souls, which are like health, and then like yellow souls, which is like special ability or something like that. Meanwhile, you have this talking glove, which, you know, just talks to you. That's kind of weird. I didn't get a
Like
great
God of War
vibe of
head
like,
talking glove.
kind of, but it's more like Japanese esque, where there are certain games that are like escaping me right now, where you're like, I'm a glove and I'm kind of bad, but we're gonna work together right now. God of War was more like, all right, we're in for a good
Like
story.
Midna from Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
Me, you have to hear it to understand.
Okay.
Is
Okay,
really
all
what it
right.
is. There's a certain vibe that the voice actor gives off, where it's like this kind of like uh, peanut butter and pickles, like we don't belong together, but we're here together right now type of situation. Anyways, what really sold me was the very last fight of the demo. It's like this boss fight. There's this guy who also has a gauntlet, and he's like, "Look at me, I also have a gauntlet. You're not going to get rid of me that easy." And he's very excited and animated, very much how like some of the one-on-one human boss fights are in Final Fantasy VII remake and Rebirth, or whatever the second one's called. Like there was just a certain flashiness to where I was like, okay, this is going to be like a movie type experience, where a lot of these fights are going to be memorable, cinematic, and just overall a good time. I think this is a multi-note game. Like if you like hacking, okay, Pragmata like might be for you. I think this is going to be for a lot of people who just want a really exciting action adventure experience. So highly recommend so far based on the
That's
demo.
awesome.
Nice.
Do you know how this one connects to the previous trilogy? Is it a sequel?
Couldn't
Is
tell
it its
ya.
own thing? Okay, fair enough.
No
That's fair.
clue,
My
yeah.
That's fair.
understanding is this is a new game.
That's what I thought too. Okay.
It
Yeah.
didn't sound like they were making references to anything, but if they were, I would not know.
Okay.
That's fair.
I think it looks cool. As you said, I enjoy a stylish action game. Give me a cool samurai sword. I'm intrigued. I'm in.
Right.
Nice.
Because I think this year they put out in May the remake or remaster of the second game.
Okay.
So new entry on the way.
All right. All right. Love to see it.
It's gonna be my. Anyways,
Rolling right along. Claire.
Did you do that on purpose?
Good. Good.
Guys, I'm on fire tonight. Let's keep podcasting, shall we? You played a game called Rollergirl.
I did. Back into the indie space. Super duper much so. I played Rollergirl from Pushing Vertices. This is a kind of almost Life is Strange in terms of the vibes.
Say
Go
less.
on.
Yeah.
Just like slice of life adventure game where you are a girl on roller skates, teenage girl. It's the early 2000s. You've got your off-brand MP3 player, and you are roller skating around your hometown, trying to raise cash in order to fix up your car to leave your hometown. You are performing odd jobs, running errands, talking to the quirky characters, kind of uncovering this main character's past as you interact with people. There are these like intriguing conversations because these are all people she already knows. So there's history, but you're the player. You don't know what that history is. So that's always kind of fun to just get that sort of level of storytelling where you're on the outside looking in. The thing that intrigued me the most, aside from just how good the roller skate or the rollerblading mechanic felt to begin with, and I apologize if I said roller skates because you're on blades, It's a distinction. It's important.
Skates, 2 sets of parallel wheels, rollerblades are 3. Yes.
As they said
There you
in
go.
the hit Disney Channel original film Brink, skate better, rollerblades. Carry on.
All right. Is the mechanic the mechanic where you can change the
Sorry, it's been a long time since someone referred to the movie Brink, so thank you for that.
Like I said, I'm on fire tonight. We're just gonna keep it rolling.
Keeping it rolling. You can open your MP3 player, which is like your UI that has your your map and your quests and whatever, but it also has the music. You control the music. We've seen this before, except for that when you change the mood of the music, it affects the entire world. So if you put on a sad song, it gets all rainy. You actually move slower. The entire color palette shifts. If you put on a really upbeat song, you got this like really poppy color palette with the little like camera lens flares going off, and it's just like it's peak summer vibes. And you actually move faster. And then you put on like it's like the middle child playlist or something where it's just like kind of normal, and then it takes away the filter and you just are like normal. And I'm imagining that there are probably going to be other things that you unlock as you go, because as you're exploring the world, you also unlock new music. That's one of the things you collect. You collect music as well as whatever your quest items are. And what we played at the demo had a little bit of that, but then I also got to speak to the dev who was like the game is based on her life and her experience in her hometown, and she was saying that they're going to be adding even more of that like density of you're going around and you're uncovering town lore about the history of the town, and you're learning more about the characters and their relationships, and you're finding more collectibles of different kinds while you're completing the quests. And it was just really cool to see and feel like this world. It definitely felt like it was a real world that someone had realized. Really cool to hear about how she like put her house from childhood into the game. And I'm really excited to see where Rollergirl goes, because it definitely feels like it has something special.
That sounds
This
awesome.
was in the PAX Rising area.
It was, yeah.
And another one that's just seemed all weekend like people were crowding around.
It was right across from Terrible Lizard, so good corner over there.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
It was really cool.
I'm intrigued.
Sounds like a sister game to Mixtape that's coming out later this year.
Yeah.
I don't know what it says about my game taste, but I'm a sucker for a coming of age summer vibes. That's kind of enough to get me, but everything else you said sounds really interesting.
TV show, movie, book taste as well.
Yeah. It's not wrong. Jumping back to you, Jacob. You took a little breather from the PAX show floor and hit up the Seattle Indie Expo and played a game called Negative Space. Let's hear about that one.
So I'm going to. It's the second year that I've gone to the Seattle Indies Expo. I will strongly recommend that if you're listening to this and you go to PAX West and they continue doing this event, which I hope they do. It was always good, but I would go for an hour. I'd find 1 or 2 games that were off the floor and I'd be like, cool, worth my time. It's a 5-minute walk. It's free. It's great. This year they had 2 floors of a hotel right by the convention center. And so I ended up spending 2 hours there, to the point where I'm like, I have to go because I have other things. I didn't think I was going to be here for 2 hours. There were so many games, most of which were not on the floor. Negative Space was my favorite from the event, which they described as sort of a non-combat deck building game, where your job is to build a deck of different crew for a spacecraft. And instead of like combating an enemy, you are just trying to gather the best possible hand that interacts with each other in order to explore different planets. So example, let's say in your hand you have 5 crewmates and they all have, ratings from 4 to 6 at the start. You need like 12 to explore a planet. And if you explore appropriate amount of planets, then you move on in roguelite fashion. But obviously these cards have different powers that interact with one another. So you can figure out like cool chain reactions. There are great items. This one's being made independently by a team called Tier 87 Games. It's coming out later this year. I played it, and it's one of those ones where I like played it and I said, great, I'm going to buy this when it comes out to the team because this looks rad. So the demo's available on Steam now. So if deck building games are your thing, especially ones that don't necessarily focus exclusively on combat, that are more just about like building the best crew possible, that you're not like competing against someone else, this is a great one.
Cool.
Yeah, it looks
The
really
color
cool.
palette's really eye-catching. It looks neat.
Yeah, a lot of purples and greens and yellows, and it very much looks like cartoony space.
Yeah.
And it's one that if it ended up on mobile at some point later, I would not be surprised, because this game is really made for Steam Deck, for mobile, and like we don't have to wait long for it also, which is great.
Sweet. Next up from my list, got to talk about Bubsy 4D, which I played.
Hell yeah.
I can't overemphasize, when I saw the announcement of this game, I couldn't believe that it was real. Like, Bubsy 3D, the last game you would expect there to ever be a sequel. But I was really pleasantly surprised by this one. Being published by Atari, it's being developed by Fabrice.
Probably not for Blues, but...
It's the team behind
Definitely not for Bruce.
Fabrice. Yeah, sorry everybody. Anyway, it's the team behind Demon Tides, another kind of retro-inspired 3D platformer, so the pedigree is definitely there for this one, but I really thought it played super well. I enjoyed... There was like a certain level of float and like overshooting to the platforming that I felt was really... It worked well for me. The art style I thought looked really sharp, but still an homage to that era of platformer. The different power-ups you were getting were a ton of fun to experiment. Turning into a ball and like ripping through this like pipe tunnel was super satisfying, and just like the locomotion really hit on all cylinders for me. But yeah, went from like no way a Bubsy game could be good to be like, oh yeah, this is real solid, and definitely excited to play it when it comes out next year.
If you've seen Demon Tides, you will understand.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like,
it makes total sense. But the thing I struggled with Demon Tides is like there seemed to almost be too many things your character could do, where they've almost rolled back the amount of powers that your character has for traversal, where you have like a pounce, you have a dash move where you're in a ball, and I think you have one other. There's like 3 moves that really help with locomotion, and the flow between them was perfect, to the point where the person who was giving the demo that I spoke to, who's I think a release manager over at Atari, was talking about how they really hope this takes a foothold in the speedrunning community.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it will, given like the locomotion of the character. I think 5 worlds, 3 levels each, so like a really well-defined scope, but something that you could probably replay if speedrunning is your thing.
Yeah, the Team Ferbaz really came on my radar this year, like when I played Demon Tide at PAX East. And I think I liked Bubsy the most out of everything I've played from them so far. I think because Jacob, like you said, is a little more compact in terms of like the options that you have, which means that you have to build around that. You don't have as many options, so you can't make the platforming as crazy or whatever. And also, just Bubsy just felt good as like a character platformer. He just felt a tad better than the other characters in the previous game. So yeah, I'm very, very excited about this. I like that it's not supposed to be this like 50-hour jaunt. And yeah, I think this is actually probably gonna do quite well because I think it has everything going for it right now.
I don't know if you guys have seen the humor with it, but at one point the person giving the demo showed me that if you skip a cutscene, there's a part where Bubsy's changing, and if you skip the cutscene at just the right moment, Bubsy will not wear pants or any clothes in his playthrough and just be all pixelated, which
That's
we
amazing.
love. You can even add tank controls to the actual game, and Bubsy will talk shit about, like, do you really want to like do that? The tank controls. So it looks like there's some good humor in there too.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm super excited for this one.
We love a good fourth wall break.
I feel like Bubsy is kind of like the Deadpool of the 3D platformer mascots.
Him
the
and
most
Conker.
self-deprecating. Yeah,
Him
that's
and
true.
Conker,
That's
yeah.
true. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Need a new Conker game. Well, that
What
can
to
be the
do.
next one. That can be the next title they work on.
Call up Rare.
Hell yeah. All right, next up, Joseph, you played a game called Secret of the Weepstone? What's this one
Yeah,
about?
this game was awesome. This is like a D&D like game where you are
Oh,
essentially
is
going
this
to
the
this
Dread
capital.
XP joint?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, this was at the Dread
Yep.
XP booth.
Sorry, continue.
So no, you're good. You're good. So like you're going to this castle of Weepstone. I forgot what you're going there to do, to like, I don't know, clean up some stuff or check and see what's going on with the king who's went missing or something like that. But essentially, just like D&D, you kind of create your party at the beginning. Everybody pitches their case as to why they should go to the castle. You recruit a party, and then you take that party into the castle. And then from there is just like your typical Baldur's Gate style gameplay where you're interacting with objects, and any interaction can lead to something unexpected. For example, I was checking out toilets, and you can drop a rock in each toilet. Most of them were stinky, but one, the rock like fell all the way down to into some water, which clearly meant, oh, there's something below this toilet. So I sent a character down there, and all I see is his little ghost coming up because he had died. And it's like, oh yeah, your character fell to his death. And I'm like, oh, okay, I probably could have guessed that, but I was not expecting that to happen. So I was immediately down a character, and that was just cool. I just love when the unexpected can happen during a playthrough at any given moment. There's also combat, which is a big aspect of it. Once again, if you're familiar with Baldur's Gate, you're rolling dice. So you roll two dice. You roll one to see if you hit, and then if you do hit, you roll one to see how much damage you do. And that's the cycle. And once again, if your characters die, it happens. It can happen pretty often. Your characters are not invincible, not even close. But the interesting thing here is that if your characters die, they have an opportunity to give your team a buff. So, for example, I had a dwarf guy, he died, and his ghost then ensured that if there was ever a killing blow on my party members, they survive with 1 HP. So just cool stuff like that changed the dynamics of how you play the game depending on who's dying. So there's a bunch of strategy in that. Yeah, it was just a great time where I could not have expected the things I encountered on my run when I played. For example, I found like a odd, creepy looking guy who was shifty, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to fight this dude. And I chose some specific dialogue options, and he joined my party. So I was up a guy after that, and he started fighting with me. So I was like, oh, this is sick. The only feedback that I would have for the game is that I wish there was like a fast forward mode on battle combat, because I got into some situations where both me and the enemy I was fighting just kept missing. So, and it takes some time to roll that damn dice, especially if you're rolling two or whatever. And there's a possibility that you roll damage on your dice, but you have like a debuff for whatever reason, so you do 0 damage. So it was like either miss, do 0 damage, miss, and going back and forth. I need an option to speed through that, because I can't be sitting all day doing that. Otherwise, everything was great. I really enjoyed it as somebody who doesn't not really familiar with D&D, only through Baldur's Gate, but really had a great time with this.
I can't understate how striking the art style is on this one, where
Very good.
it reminded me a lot of Oberdin, if you
Mm-hmm.
have seen that one in action. But just the amount of, despite being, I don't want to say simple because that's talking down, but like black and white, there is just so much detail in the world and care about how the game looks and feels.
Yeah, truly. And Joseph, you were among, like, I felt like I heard like a dozen different people say like this was their favorite thing they played, this was the most interesting thing they played. So it was definitely like the talk of the show floor in a lot of ways. So excited to keep it on my radar. Very nice. Coming back around to you, Claire. War of the Western Deep.
Yeah. So this is a game based on an existing graphic novel franchise that I had never heard of before. I was really drawn in by the art style, just being this like really beautiful and lush, hand drawn. Like it literally looks like a graphic novel on your screen. And lo and behold, it's because that's the art style of the graphic novel franchise. But it's the the Western Deep series, but it's not. It's not like it's a video game made out of one of the books. It's just set in the same world. It's a point and click, mostly adventure game that's very narrative heavy, but there is also some light combat as well. And I'm sure that whatever was in the demo, there's going to be more. The combat in the demo was pretty basic. But I was definitely intrigued by the like world building. Felt very well developed, and the story that they're setting up here with the like war between these two nations, and you're caught in the middle and trying to figure out, you know, who's betraying who and how can you stop it. And there's a lot of tension was introduced right away where I was like, oh, I'm in. And that's really hard to do at a PAX demo. So I was even more in because of how they were able to do that. I just thought it was really cool. The music was also really beautiful. Fully voice acted. It just felt like really polished. It's coming from Suns Grove Studios, which I think was founded in order to make the game. Suns Grove is the name of the nation in the game. And yeah, it's just like, it's very cinematic. The cutscenes are very cinematic. There's like dialogue options. The dialogue at the start of the demo was a little bit kind of felt a little canned, but then it started to get, you know, more intriguing as the game went on, more interesting. I'm really in on this character Mirren. You're playing as little fox people, I think, little canids running around. So yeah, it kind of, it's giving Redwall a little bit in terms of the like, oh, it's cute little critters, except for fighting to the death. Yeah.
To me, when I first saw it, it gave Dragon's Lair 3D. Like, that was the inspiration that I found for it, and like the Robin Hood animated movie, somewhere in between those.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the combat like in this? Is it real time? Is it turn based?
You know, I'm gonna look at my notes.
It's like rhythm based, kind of, not
Was
like
it?
real rhythm, but it's kind of like, oh, he's about to attack. All right, press the left button to dash to the side, stuff like that. So
yeah, it's like that amalgamation of, it is like technically turn based, but more in a timing
Like
sort
a
of
quick
way,
time
and less of in like
sort
your
of
traditional JRPG sort of way. Kind of like the we're gonna talk about it later, ironically, but the new Pokemon game also too, where it's like a little bit more real time than your traditional turn based combat too, and like
It was giving knife fights from Mafia: The Old Country.
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think it seemed like it becomes more in depth. Like at the first, it was just like dodge, parry, strike. I think that they probably add a little bit more as you go on. The character was like, "I'm rusty. I don't remember how to do this." So I think you probably added add stuff in.
it also has like these like point and click style puzzles, which I kind of enjoyed because they were just challenging enough to where they were enjoyable. I feel like there's this push and pull of certain point and click games, especially older titles, where the puzzles are so dang obtuse that it's no longer fun. This was not the case. I feel like they gave just enough hints and there were just enough interactable objects to where this wasn't frustrating. And 100% backing up what Claire said, like the first like 3 or 4 minutes of the demo, I was like, oh, this seems like this is going to be boring. Like these characters don't seem that interesting. But as soon as you like leave your tent or whatever it is, I was like, oh, okay, like we're really talking here. We're finding dead people. She's wondering why these people are attacking these people, or why are we being sent over here? Why is she being chosen? All these like really interesting questions. It's fine. All of these really interesting questions get answered. Well, I guess they didn't get answered. The one drawback I will say, Claire, the developer told me this isn't coming out until 2027, which is like, I was like, I hope we get something to hold us over until then. That's a long time for this to come out.
He did say that they are, I mean, it's kind of sounded like what we saw is what they have as of right now, and they're hand drawing everything. I was gonna say, is it like so they're really they're like, we really want to make sure that the entire game looks like this the entire way through. And to an extent, I'm like, yeah, take your time. Maybe if they have like a Steam demo ready at some point. But yeah, it is a lot. It is a long wait, but I also can appreciate games taking longer because people are like invested in the craftsmanship, especially in this day of AI where people are just trying to take shortcuts all the time. So I will not complain about that.
That's true.
Also, if you are really, I think if you're really craving this world, they have like multiple graphic novels out now.
So, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just go read them. I don't know.
Intriguing. Circling back around one more time to Jacob, you played a game called Black Jacket?
Yeah, this one's being published by Skystone. They had it on a corner, which when you walked into the convention floor, I swear every time there was just like one person deep where I'm like, I will play the Blackjack roguelite at some point. And it was, I think, the last game that I played on the Monday at like 4 p.m. And let me tell you, I like card games. And so this is one where you are playing blackjack against your opponent, but is not the casino style blackjack. It is more non-casino blackjack, where the dealer isn't necessarily stuck on standing on 17, for example. So there are some distinctions, but essentially your job is to get to 21 and then beat your opponent. But you can not only look at the cards that are in your deck, swap the order, you can create powerful combos between your cards. You can also, there are artifacts and cards that get your opponent to overcommit or to, potentially bust. And it's a roguelite. So I got to play just a demo of one run through, and it was one of those things where I went, yes, I understand what this is. It's all going to come down to how much there is in the roguelite of it, and then how easy it is to start getting your cards to interact with one another. So this one is a TBD, the most TBD, no dates, no nothing, not even a demo. But what I would encourage you to go check it out if you are a card sicko like me. Black Jacket looks cool.
Dang, I really wish there was a demo for this.
Yeah,
I really want to try this out.
Sounds
this
cool.
one's from Me Pumi Games, TBD.
Okay.
It's the team I think that made the Lion song, which is an adventure game that I liked from years and years and years ago. So,
right on, very cool. We're skipping me because we've talked about all the games that I played, so no worries there. Joseph, Swap Meet. I've seen this at a couple of events, but haven't had a chance to actually play it. What'd you think?
Yeah, this game was awesome. This is a co-op, I guess like Borderlands-like game where you are essentially being dropped in on these different planets to take care of these missions. There's a whole single-player story that's involved, and I love this game. The whole pitch on this game is that you go into the game with a specific loadout, but the loadout is like your head, your arms, your legs, and as you defeat enemies on this particular planet, you can take their specialty features and swap your body parts out. So you can swap out your head, you can swap out your legs, you can swap out your arms, and they give you different abilities, which is really cool. For example, I shot this like flying arachnid type enemy, and I got spider legs, and that made me jump higher and do like this really interesting dash. And like there are other abilities that maybe give you like heavier weapon loadout. I had like these like mantis blades that help me slice up people. Like it's very fun, and it definitely quickly makes you feel like you're in God mode, where it's like, man, I just feel super powerful. And I was talking to like the game lead, the game director, and I was just telling him how I felt like this game did a lot right that you typically don't see in like these multiplayer type games. Like I felt like it felt like a great game that you could play standalone. You don't feel like you need a party there, so that's a big part, because I hate having to like corral 3 other people with me just because I want to play Borderlands or whatever other game. I feel like the gameplay is very fun. You immediately get it. So yeah, it's just like a nice series of like gameplay elements that really come together. And it's kind of hard to pitch people on this. I highly suggest you try and get in on a play test, because as soon as you play it for 5 minutes, you're in. You don't need 30 minutes, an hour to be sold on this game.
After you played it, I think I jumped in and grabbed it on the last day, Joseph, and I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. It is, to your point, very third person Borderlands, but the traversal and the characters is quite good, and
Mhm.
the shooting also felt pretty good. So yeah, they're doing a bunch of playtests as they prepare for an October launch, which seems wild. This game is just coming out in October. But yeah, I'm gonna +1 on what Joseph said there, and jump in a playtest if you're curious.
Sweet.
Nice.
I like hearing that we can play it single player. That was a big
Yeah.
asterisk to me because I'm in a similar boat of like I love to play games with friends, but like we're all heading into our 30s or in our 30s, and it's hard to do anything as a group planned
Yeah,
regular.
very true.
Maybe we get one good night and we're like, oh, that was the best. We got to do it again. And it's tricky to do again. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the Devolver first person Borderlands esque
Oh,
thing that's coming?
Mycosis?
Michael Punk.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Punk. Yeah.
Yeah.
That game was cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very
feels
cool.
like that's first person, but vibes are similar.
Yeah, I could see that.
Luke, before we switch over, one thing you mentioned, like, it's hard to get together with friends. I was telling the game director that I put this game kind of in the peak category, where if I paid $20 or whatever this game costs to play one night with friends, or maybe 2 nights with friends, I honestly would probably feel like I got my money's worth. Like it's one of those games where it's like, dang, yeah, if we all pay $20, spend 3 hours one night,
Like
I
a
think
good
that is well
weekend.
worth it, right?
I respect
Yeah.
that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of
So,
which, still need to play Peak. I own Peak.
Oh,
I have
true.
not played Peak, but
well, we got to get it together one night.
okay, I'm down. Claire, closing things out.
Speaking of
as
peaks,
our cat
Can you-
once again scales the window. MJ, you're doing great.
why did you let her back in?
Well, the logic was, and I might cut this out, or I might leave it in. We'll see how chaotic this edit is. But
Leave
the
it.
logic was she does a thing where when I shut the door in my morning meetings during work, where she just starts screaming, and she started doing that with the door closed. So I was like, okay, well that's worse than if maybe she climbs up the window, maybe. So I rolled the dice, but here we are.
Sometimes you roll the dice and you end up with snake eyes, buddy. That's all right.
It happens.
I play
It
this one, so
happens.
can I start? Can I
You
start
can-
the intro for
You can
Claire?
start the intro for Opus Prism Peak.
Yeah. So this one is one that I saw on one of the many showcases. It's being published by Joseph. Hit the name for me. Shueisha.
It is being Shueisha. Yeah, Shueisha. I think it's
Shueisha
Shueisha.
Games.
Yeah.
That's how I would say it.
Where it is a narrative-driven third-person photography game, where you get pulled into like a mystical experience where you have something tragic happen to you, and you are kind of a down-on-your-luck photographer. And through your camera, you kind of discover a mystery and also take a bunch of rad pictures. I'm gonna wait till Claire puts her headphones in. I did the very quick pitch on the game, Claire. What did you like about the gameplay of Opus Prism Peak?
You gave the quick pitch. Did you?
I sure did.
You said it's Last of Us meets Life is Strange with
I sure
anime.
didn't.
He did
I
not
sure
say that.
didn't.
He did not say that at all.
Both
Jacob, what are
of
you
those
doing, my
interesting
guy?
Pitches. I'm intrigued.
I thought that the gameplay was like it was just a taste, and I wanted to know more, specifically with the element of figuring out what in the environment it wants you to photograph and then going to photograph it. And it was I think the demo was very bare bones in terms of what you had in your inventory in terms of like the photographs you've taken, but I think you can accumulate more over time and have to really like think about the riddles and the little like fire fountain thing to figure out what exactly it wants and what you can get through different photographs. But I think I found myself intrigued by the narrative specifically, of being the older, like almost middle-aged man, kind of figuring out his shit through this journey through this ethereal realm. The dialogue was very anime. So if you
Yes.
if you do not if you think anime dialogue is cheesy and you don't like it, you probably will not like this game.
On the scale of like Persona to Neon White, where are we?
It was
Jesus Christ.
very cheesy.
No. Please not
but it's
Neon
closer
White.
to Persona.
Okay, all right.
Thank
But to the
God.
point where, like, if you, like, name a popular anime's arcade battle,
Naruto.
like Naruto or Dragon Ball, the cutscenes in those games are usually really great. That's the
Mhm.
vibe you got
Okay.
from this. Like, the production value seemed very high.
Yeah,
Solid.
absolutely. You did play it too, Jacob.
Not derogatory.
I didn't know you had
Yeah,
played
yeah.
this one, so that's fun.
Yeah. And here's the cool part that I didn't realize until afterwards. Opus is a series of games
Ah,
where every single game is a little bit different, but they all
Oh.
have this like Opus branding on them, where one of them is a visual novel, and one of them, I mean, they're all kind of visual novels, but they all look and feel a little bit different.
That's cool.
So this is their 4th game in the Opus series.
It's quite pretty.
yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
definitely
It is really
intrigued by
pretty.
all this. Cool. Very cool.
And it's coming out this year, supposedly.
Awesome. Okay, we've come to the speed round. We have several games left to still shout out. I'm just going to go around the horn, and then you could all take turns shouting out any remaining titles you still want to mention for the good of the order. Jacob, what do you got for us?
Well, I want to raise of hands. Who played Kirby Air Riders? Me and Joseph.
You told me not
I don't
to,
think
in
this game is
fairness.
very good.
Yeah.
But not only the demo, I think the demo experience at PAX was poor. You know, the warp pipe, you get your appointment. Joseph is doing the hand motion to like cut it out, but you get a warp
No, it was
pipe,
terrible.
which means you get to stand in line and then watch the direct in line to sort of learn things, and then wait for your 10-minute demo of the game's arena or the city battle mode.
In
Look,
fairness,
I'm
that's
the-
exactly what I expected it to be. But
Yeah.
fair
I'm
enough.
the biggest fan of Kirby Air Ride on GameCube. I look at that game and say it's not very good. If you go and check out video game trivia that these boys were a part of, we'll link it in the show notes here. We shared the Metacritic rating of Kirby Air Ride, and it's not very good. This game has not changed in 20 years. As much as we love Sakurai, and by the time this comes out, maybe there's an announcement for Smash 6. I don't think this game is very good. Am I going to buy it? Probably. Am I a moron? Yes. Hooper?
I disagree. I don't think that the game
Oh,
is
intrigue.
bad per se. I do think it demoed terribly, and I think it's probably a fun game, but I doubt it's a $70 fun game. To be quite honest, if we're talking about one of the biggest purchases of the year, but I don't think that whatever demo I played at PAX was enough to judge that. So I also was a big fan of Kirby Air Ride on the GameCube. I think there's probably fun to be had. I would argue that there's a good chance I would play this and have more fun playing this with friends than Mario Kart on a game night. I said it. I said that absolutely. Mario Kart World. You guys know how I feel about you, Mario, and Company and World Tour, or whatever the game is called.
Wait until our game of the year comes around. It's going to be a fun chat.
You guys are savages. That game's really fun.
I'll do whatever.
It's really fun.
I'll do whatever I can to take that game off the list. I'll tell you what. High on Life 2, I know you're not coming out until next year. You're on the list. Mario Kart World, get off.
Okay.
Is that what is the name of the game? Is it called Mario Kart World or something
The
else?
fact that you don't
Mario-
know confidently concerns me.
I mean, that's
But
how
also,
much I
guess
tried to
that
forget about
speaks
that
to
game.
it. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. It is Mario
Anyways.
Kart World. You are correct.
Anyways, this is the speed round. I'm sorry.
No,
Let's
it's
keep
okay.
going.
We're talking about the fastest game too with Kirby Air Riders, but I digress. Jacob, any other shout outs from the list you want to talk about?
Yeah, I also demoed Pokemon Legends ZA. I think also a bad demo. That actually persuaded me that I should not play Pokemon Legends and instead should play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which I've not played, that just got the frame boost on Switch 2. Demo was bad. It was 2 separate sections. The first section was go through this challenge area where you do some battles, and then you'll get your ass kicked by an enemy that's like triple your level, and then you do like a Mega Evolution battle. That was okay, but I don't know. It just felt like I know we've had a Pokemon Legends game before, but it was like, yes, more of this. this game is not meant for me. It is meant for children.
Performance wise, how we doing on Pokemon?
It looked
It was
fine. It
good.
looked,
Okay.
yep,
It was
technical,
good.
no issues.
Look better on
I
Scarlet.
like the demo. I thought it sold me on the new game mechanics of Pokemon ZA, but I have other problems with the game. Like, I like that the Pokemon are running around, active time battle. They have cooldowns in their abilities. I think that is cool. I just don't care about the Gigamax or whatever the hell they are being in this like purple zone, just spamming attacks. It's like not really that engaging to me. And I don't like the city. I hate Lumino City. It all looks the same, and I wish we were outside in a cave or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree, Joseph, with all of that. I loved the first Pokemon Legends game that I can never seem to pronounce correctly. Because it was like that. Oh, it's set in the past, and you're like running around outside
I
and
thought that was a
encountering
cool
them. And
game.
I thought that was
in
all really.
hindsight.
And then when you got that in Scarlet and Violet too, where you're just running around and you're seeing them and you're catching them and you're like that the open world aspect I really liked. I don't like the city environments though, because they never feel actually populated with interesting things. And they're like not pretty, generally speaking. I don't know. I would have liked to see more of the like running around part of the game and less of the combat, because it's like, yeah, I get that it's a little different, but also it's still Pokemon and the combat's generally always about the same. And I think maybe one combat section and one run around section would have probably been a better demo, but I'm still gonna play this game. And ultimately, maybe it makes me want to just go back and play Legends Arceus all the way through because I did not finish it. We'll see. As long as they let you freaking change your outfit, I swear to God, what are we doing?
Oh gosh, the pants.
The school
pants debacle
uniform
of Scarlet
in
and
Scarlet
Violet.
and Violet, like that was such a huge step backward. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Give
performance
me.
issues aside, but the pants resolved.
Yeah.
Tune in next episode to probably not hear about that. 'cause
Probably
we
not find out, yeah.
Talk about this again. Jacob, any other shout outs that we haven't touched on?
Yeah, let me go really fast
You're-
on
you're all
two.
good.
I went to a pop up by Pika Rar at a store right off the convention floor. It was like a 8-minute walk for Unbeatable, which is a game that's been sort of in the zeitgeist for a while from D-Cell Games. It is a indie rock, alternative rock, arcade rhythm game that has a story mode built on top of it. I'm wildly excited for this one. If you're a rhythm game sicko, the music's a vibe, and they just got picked up by PlayStack.
Oh,
And
sick.
so
Nice.
this one comes out in November. The pop-up was cool. I played this game on a CRT, which is how rhythm games are meant to be played. Stylish as hell. Got Scott Pilgrim vibes, sort of. So if any of those words seemed like a vibe to you, then you should check out Unbeatable. I'll probably post a video on my social media about the pop-up at some point, so follow me there if that's your thing. And then Cardomantic is the other game that I put on the list, which is another game I played at the Seattle Indies Expo. It is sort of Tarot Balatro, if you had to really simplify it, but instead of just playing cards, it's almost like dominoes, where you have to play your tarot cards in a certain configuration on a plane, and cards interact with each other based on how they're placed, kind of like a game of dominoes. This one's very early. There's not a demo online. I believe the composer is going to be the composer of Steven Universe also, so the music's going to be wild and cool here, being made by Ash Makes Games. Give it a follow on your wish list, and you'll be able to play the demo when it comes out someday.
Sweet.
Cardomantic and Unbeatable.
Love it. Kicking it back to you, Joseph. Got a couple shout outs.
Yeah, I think I'm just talking about Valor Mortis here. This was a game, if you watched one of the Summer Game Fest probably, or Gamescom, there was this game made by the Ghost Runner devs, and it's a first-person Souls-like where you are playing in the Napoleonic era, and all your comrades have turned into weird, like Souls-like, nasty creatures. And the best thing I can say about this is that it was not trash. Like, when you're talking about first person already, you're like, anything first person you're not shooting, you're like, okay, we'll see about that. But the fact that, I guess there is a little bit of shooting, but there's also a lot of like melee combat, but then you're parrying and doing Souls-like stuff on top of that. That's a recipe for disaster, and they avoided disaster, which is awesome. I'm gonna have to see a lot more of the game to determine if it's truly up to snuff. Just because as Souls-like difficulty goes up, there's more option for fuckery there. One example of that is like you hear like Napoleon goons moaning in your ear, and I'm like, oh, he's to the right of me, and he's actually to the left of me, and I'm like, I don't like that, especially when every little hit is crucial, and you want to be well positioned. So not being able to see behind you and echolocate these people is not great. So I think there's a lot of promise here. This could be a very great game, but they are battling. They're going uphill on this one for sure with all of the different choices they made. So we'll see. Valor Mortis.
Interesting. I'm intrigued by the setting. Sounds cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. The setting is very interesting for sure.
All right, Claire, you're finishing us out with a trio of games.
So a couple more I wanted to give a shout out to. Song of Maka, from Silver J Studios is a 2D puzzle light platformer where you play as a little bird, another amnesiac animal protagonist for you here, trying to figure out and get back to where he came from. It kind of reminded me of Symphonia in the way that you're like collecting different sounds, in this case different bird song, that has different abilities that then you can use to solve puzzles and manipulate the environment. The actual controls of that took me a second to get the hang of, but after that was pretty straightforward. Mouse and keyboard is not my strong suit, so I won't fault the game for that. But it was another beautiful hand-drawn art style situation. The music was very chill, and it really jumped out at me. I also wanted to talk about Away From Home, which I can't. Was this in a 6-1 indie? Was this in a?
I believe so.
Yeah,
in their last
in a showcase.
I think it was also at East as well.
Yeah, it's been
West
around
last year.
It's been here for a minute.
Yeah, it's piqued my interest multiple times though.
I didn't really get that it was like a rhythm based combat RPG. But yeah, it kind of weirdly had like Ed and Eddie vibes, old school Cartoon Network. Just
Get the Jawbreakers out.
In terms of the humor, it was just very much like a kind of crass childhood goofing around humor. And then it's got, of course, the like CRT TV aesthetic going for it too. The rhythm game, I usually with the rhythm game, I'm like, these controls aren't precise enough, and it's not fun, because if you're actually keeping the beat and you're not behind the beat because you're like actually a musician, you're not gonna do very good. Or they're just really simplistic, and it's like, okay, I need more of a challenge. But in this case, it was like, it felt like the hits lined up exactly with the actual beat, and you kind of even had to like learn the song and anticipate what the rhythms were going to be. And it wasn't just keeping the beat either. It was like, oh, this song that's playing during this combat scenario has like occasional triplets that you then have to hit on the triple, instead of just da da. That was like da da. There was like syncopation, da 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 da, and it was just like, this is cool, and then you have to choose like whether to dodge or attack or whatever, use your power up. It was definitely gripping gameplay wise, so I thought that was really cool. Yeah. And then I think, and Jacob, you've played this one too, I wanted to shout out Rogue Labyrinth, which was at the Indie IO booth from T-Witch Games. It's a roguelite where you're going through a labyrinth, and two things about this I thought were really cool. One is that it's a reality game show, so you are trying to build up hype through the crowd by doing things that aren't just like gonna get you through it, but also are impressive and entertaining. And then also the thing of anything you hit becomes a projectile that then does damage. So like you chop down trees and then you whack them, and the trees are just spinning around taking down enemies. Or you kill an enemy and it spins around and then it stops, and you run back over to where the corpse is and you spin it back around again and kill more enemies. I thought that was really cool. So yeah.
This one
Right.
very much like in a post Hades. This is a post Hades world game.
Yeah.
But I think adding the layer of the game show, but more importantly the projectiles and how it kind of felt like you were doing pinball and
Yeah.
you weren't really concerned as much about the enemies. You were concerned about the projectiles they were throwing out and then throwing them back at the enemies to
Yeah.
like create a terrible pinball game, a terrible multi-ball pinball game happening on screen.
Yeah.
It's out.
It's out now.
It's out now. They launched it on the last day of PAX,
Oh,
and
wow.
Yeah.
I don't. They didn't have a big button, but the team was there until Sunday, and then I had heard that they had went back to make sure the game was okay when they hit launch on it. So this one's out now.
Cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
Well,
Nice.
congrats to them. That's rad.
it's also currently on sale for
Nice.
$11.99, which from what I played feels like a really solid deal on that. So
Not a bad price.
That's a
That's
sandwich.
cheaper than lunch.
Yeah, cheaper than a
Mhm.
sandwich. Awesome. Well, this was a great batch of games this year. I feel like I was really pleased with everything we had a chance to play. All right, y'all. I think we made it to the end of the show. Some just general quick housekeeping shout outs. Folks can check out our Square Enix preview episode, our Xbox hands-on preview episode, Jacob's awesome video game trivia panel that we were all a part of. It was very fun. Shenanigans. Did Joseph and I win? You have to watch to find out. Did we drink secret potion? You have to watch to find out. Did
you have the best bit of the show? You have to watch to find out.
I'll say yes to that one. I'll give them that, but I won't say what the bit was.
Yeah, so shout out again to these guys, Jenny Wyndham, Jenna Stieber, Cam Hawkins, Jared Lugo, for helping us put together. The room was almost full again. It's a wild time, so appreciate the Reed Pop letting us do our thing. The 6th time, just so silly that we keep doing this thing.
people come to
Shout out
PAX
to you
for
guys.
you.
Shout
Jacob.
out to Jacob.
People
though.
come to PAX for video game trivia.
Highlight of the weekend.
That's what my
as
ego tells
always.
me.
It was very fun. Thank you for having us. All right, everybody. With that, we are setting our status to away until next time. But before then, I'm going to ask you to do 4 things for us. Give us a follow on Blue Sky at Crossplay Convos. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, also at Crossplay Convos. Send this podcast to a friend because that's how people hear about podcasts. And of course, give us a review on your podcasting platform of choice because it truly does help. And until PAX East, everyone, have a lovely evening. Goodbye!